Blog Talk Radio.
It's not my fault. You've been lying, saying that I took away your peace. Drowning by yourself, now you wanna blame me. Like you have no options. I ain't take your options. Nah, I'm not the problem. Man, that's on you, yeah. You've been terrorizing me, yeah, I'm always wrong. I knew you lost your mind when you dropped that bomb. Girl, are you crazy? Yeah, you must be crazy. I've been thinking lately it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me, but baby, it's you. Lie like a rat, but take your stuff back, baby, it's and I would never hear. You've been flexing everywhere. Girl, look in the mirror. Man, you're so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately, it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me. But baby, it's you. Lie like a rat, but take your stuff back. Baby, it's you. Control the weather, then every day would rain on your parade. Shine, you can't shit, yeah. If I was Father Time, then I would change the day, so I never saw your face.
Hello. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I am your host, Simo, of What's Really Going On Blog Talk Radio Show and Podcast. I am super excited that you have decided to spend your evening hanging out with me and my very special guest tonight, Sharelle J. Jackson and Larry C. Wallace. They are the authors of Hello. I am Simo, your host of What's Really Going On Blog Talk Radio Show. I have to apologize. I had the wrong intro on just now. I am very excited to have my very special guest, Miss SallyAnne Johnson, the author of Out of Bounds, Book 1, The White Series. I am super excited to have her on with me. She is joining us live from the West Midlands, UK. Before I bring SallyAnne on, I always like to give a special shout out to everybody that listens in around the globe. So, without further ado, I'd like to give a special shout to Tanzania, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Australia, New Zealand, the Philippines, China, India, Pakistan, Japan, Russia, Sweden, Norway, of course, the United Kingdom, France, Italy, Algeria, Egypt, Sudan, Nigeria, South Africa, Brazil, Mexico, and of course, rounding it out, the United States. Thank you guys so much for tuning in every week. Whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Geo Savon, wherever you're tuning in at, I thank you so much for tuning in each week. Also, if you have sent emails or messages or anything like that, I will get back to you within 72 hours at the latest. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring on my very special guest author, Miss SallyAnne Johnson.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I thank you for coming on, and I'm super excited to hear about. First of all, I want to ask you when or how long have you been writing?
Right. So I've been writing since I was a little girl. It's always something I've really loved to do. I've always loved reading as well. From like the age of about 5. I can remember my mum used to take me to the local library, and I used to get out all the books I could every single week. And in my bedroom, I'd have a bookcase just full of books. So I absolutely loved reading ever since I was a little girl. And then I'd just start writing stories when I was a little girl as well. And I think I've got boxes and boxes of like A4 lined pads in my mum and dad's loft back at home that I just write stories and just make them up over the years. And obviously they've never gone anywhere. But it's been something that's always been with me. And I stopped writing probably in my 20s because life sort of took over. You know, you buy a house and things happen, and I focused on my career. And then maybe when I was in my early 30s and a little bit more time, I started writing again. And I just started writing again on my laptop, and it just went from there really. So it's always something that's been part of me, and it's taken me a long time really to realise that. I think I'm only really truly happy when I'm writing, and now in my late 30s, and obviously then I took the plunge to self-publish.
Okay, now let me ask you this question. Now I know you said you started reading at a very early age. What were your favorite authors then, and did any of those authors influence how you write right now?
Probably not from when I was younger. So when I was a very little girl, I used to read Roald Dahl, Enid Blyton, Famous Five, Secret Seven. I had loads of Roald Dahl books. And I also had a thing for like ghost stories and things like that when I was younger. And then as I got in my teens, I started reading like the R.L. Stein Point Horror books and the Babysitter's Club and those sort of things. And then as I got into my 20s, I started reading more romance, the romance genre. So authors like Jill Mansell and Katie Ford, and sort of the women, what you class as women's fiction, just your normal romance. Nothing really with because obviously I write more contemporary erotic romance, and I'd say I started reading those books probably in my late 20s, early 30s. And I started reading Jodie Ellen Malpass, her books. So the This Man series is really, really a big series of hers. And also Sylvia Day's The Crossfire series. And it just went from there. And obviously the 50 Shades series, I think that's up there, isn't it? With famous or infamous, whatever you like to call it. That's a really well-known. That's a really well-known series of books, isn't it? So yeah, they then started to sort of shape not so much the 50 Shades series, but the other authors started to shape how I like what I write now, because I always felt when I was reading the more contemporary women's fiction, romance fiction. I hate that term, women's fiction. It sort of implies it's only women can enjoy romance books, and that's totally wrong. You know what I mean? But when I was reading those sort of books, sort of closed door, fade to black romance scenes, I always felt something was missing, and it was that sort of next step, that erotic element. So then when I started reading things like Sylvia Day's books and Jodie Ellen Malpass's books, that really, I was like, yeah, I really, really enjoyed reading those. And those authors and those books have definitely shaped my writing and influenced what I write, definitely.
Okay, and thank you for that. Now, let me ask you this. So when you started writing, or you came up with the idea to write your current book, where did you get the idea for your characters? And the reason that I always ask people that is because I know when I first started writing, all my characters were based on people I actually knew in real life. Yeah. And I just created storylines from, they would come and ask me a question about a specific thing or something, and somehow I would just create these characters based on the people that I met.
Yeah. So with my so the first series I self-published, that was published at the start of the year, and that was called the Black Series. So the first book of that was published in January this year, and the final book in that series was published in May. So with that series and with my next series, my next book, Out of Bounds, I always seem to start off with the male character, and then the storylines seem to just come off from there. So normally I'll find a guy as sort of a muse who I like to base my male character on, and I do find it's really, I find that person really important, just to study how they look, how they move, how they interact, to get a deeper sense of that character. So I find that a really useful tool. So I'll tend to find the male character and the muse for him, and then everything else just seems to come off that. The storylines and the female protagonist, it all seems to come from that. And then what I also do is, and I've done this in both series, I'll put little Easter eggs, if you like to call them, in the storylines, which are like little nods to the real life male guy I based my male lead on. So I did that in my first series, and I've done that in my current series as well.
Okay. Now, do you plan to do like an online book reading at some point, or something of that nature, like a live where people can kind of see?
Yeah, so I haven't yet done one of those, but funnily enough, today, sort of a co-author I saw on Facebook, she'd put a question out to her Facebook group asking if they would like to see her read a chapter or a page of her book. And I'm also aware that the author that I'm friends with has done that as well. So that's definitely something I would like to do in the future. Yeah, I'd really be up for that. And as I say, it would probably be in my Facebook group. I'd do that. But yeah, that is definitely something I'd be up for. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. And you know what? It's something that I wanted to do because I know that we are friends on Facebook, and that is just like for my radio show. But I had wanted to. I also have another page. I'm not sure if you're on there or not, but it's Books by C. Mo. And I was going to invite a bunch of authors on there.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that would be a great idea because we're from everywhere, and I think it'd be nice to, just give little tidbits of our books, maybe on live at some point. I know that we're on different time zones, but I'm pretty sure we can coordinate.
Yeah, we could. Yeah. That'd be really good. That's a really good idea. So yeah. I'll definitely be. If you want to invite me along to that, I'll definitely be up for that. Yeah.
Oh, definitely, yes, ma'am. Okay, so your upcoming book is Out of Bounds. the
Yeah.
white. So we got to
Yep.
talk about that for sure.
Mhm.